They have hurt us in the worst way. In the very worst way.
He's always been a friendly person to everyone. He's the joy of anyone's life.
On August 4th, 2019, a tragic event unfolded in Allendale, South Carolina, that would forever change lives and reveal the hidden struggles of love and identity. A young black transgender woman, Dime Doe, was discovered lifeless in her car after being shot 3 times in the head. This crime shocked the community, prompting the FBI Columbia field office to investigate this case. Because this was not just a story about loss, it was the story of a man who felt compelled to silence his secret, a secret that involved his relationship with Dime, a connection he was desperate to hide from the world. What drives someone to act against those they claim to care for, when faced with the fear of judgment and societal pressures? Dime Doe, born Pebble Le Dime Doe, grew up in South Carolina, where she faced numerous challenges as she navigated her identity. From a young age, Dime was aware that she was different. Her journey towards self-acceptance began after high school, when she transitioned into her true self as a transgender woman. This transition was not just about changing her appearance. It was a profound transformation that involved embracing her identity and finding the courage to live openly. As a hairdresser, Dime brought joy and creativity to those around her. She had a natural talent for styling hair and made many friends through her work. Her vibrant personality shone through in everything she did. She was known for her infectious laughter and warm spirit. Dime was not just a stylist. She was a confidant and a source of support for many in her community. Her friends often described her as someone who could light up a room, making everyone feel valued and loved. Despite the love she received from friends and clients, Dime also faced the harsh realities of being a black transgender woman in America. She encountered discrimination and prejudice, which made her journey more difficult. Yet she remained resilient. She surrounded herself with supportive friends who celebrated her identity and encouraged her dreams. Dime's life took a significant turn when she met Daqua Lameek Ritter during his visits to Allendale to see his grandmother. Their connection blossomed into a romantic relationship that was both thrilling and complicated. While they shared moments of genuine affection, their relationship was shrouded in secrecy due to Ritter's fear of how others would perceive them. Ritter was involved with another woman, Delasia Green, which added layers of complexity to his relationship with Dime. Despite the challenges, Dime longed for acceptance and love, wanting to be open about who she was, with Ritter by her side. However, as rumors about their relationship began to spread within their small community, Ritter's anxiety grew. He felt trapped between his feelings for Dime and the fear of being judged by those around him. The tension mounted as Ritter struggled to balance his 2 lives. While he enjoyed the connection he had with Dime, he also feared the repercussions of being associated with a transgender woman in a society that often held narrow views on gender and identity. This internal conflict created an environment ripe for misunderstanding and ultimately led to tragic consequences. Delasia Green played a crucial role in this unfolding drama. As Ritter's primary girlfriend, she became increasingly suspicious of his behavior as rumors about his relationship with Dime circulated. Delasia noticed changes in Ritter. He seemed more distant and preoccupied, often distracted by messages he received from Dime. Delasia confronted Ritter about her concerns, but found him evasive and defensive. Instead of addressing the issue directly, Ritter chose to deny any wrongdoing and downplayed the significance of his relationship with Dime. This denial only fueled Delasia's suspicions further. As tensions rose between the 3 individuals, Dime, Ritter, and Delasia, the emotional stakes became higher. Delicia's feelings of betrayal, mixed with anger at Ritter for keeping secrets from her, added pressure on him. Instead of seeking resolution or honesty, Ritter's fear transformed into something darker, an overwhelming need to protect himself at all costs. In this tangled web of relationships marked by secrecy and fear, the stage was set for an unimaginable outcome, one that would forever alter lives and spark conversations about love, acceptance, and the tragic consequences of hidden truths. Ritter's fear of being ridiculed grew as rumors spread. The thought of facing mockery and judgment weighed heavily on him. He felt trapped between his feelings for Dime and the expectations placed upon him by those around him. As the gossip intensified, Ritter's anxiety deepened. He began to distance himself from Dime in public, trying to downplay their relationship while still wanting her affection in private. This created a tension that neither of them could ignore. Dime, who longed for acceptance and openness, felt increasingly frustrated by Ritter's unwillingness to acknowledge their bond outside of private moments. The emotional strain began to take its toll on both of them. In the weeks leading up to that fateful day in August, text messages between Dime and Ritter revealed a growing conflict. What had once been sweet exchanges turned into discussions filled with tension and hurt feelings. Dime expressed her frustration about feeling used, questioning why Ritter couldn't be more open about their relationship. She wanted him to stand by her side, but instead, she felt like she was living in the shadows. On July 29, 2019, Dime sent a message that reflected her feelings. "I don't feel like you appreciate me." Ritter responded defensively, suggesting they had an understanding that didn't require any extra effort on his part. This misunderstanding highlighted the emotional disconnect between them. While Dime sought validation and commitment, Ritter was struggling with his own fears and insecurities. Just days later, on July 31st, Dime texted Ritter again, saying she felt used and hurt by his actions. She pointed out that he should never have let Delasia find out about their relationship. This message marked a turning point. It was clear that the pressure of keeping their relationship secret was becoming unbearable for both of them. Ritter's responses grew more erratic as he tried to navigate the situation. He mentioned feeling insulted by Delasia when she hurled a homophobic slur at him after discovering his infidelity. This incident only added fuel to his anger and confusion. Rather than addressing his feelings for Dime directly, he allowed his emotions to fester. The conflict reached a boiling point as both individuals struggled with their desires for acceptance and love against the backdrop of societal expectations. Dime wanted to be seen for who she truly was, a woman deserving of love, while Ritter grappled with the fear of being judged for loving her. On August 4th, 2019, the day that would change everything, Daqua Lamik Ritter lured Dime Doe into a secluded area under false pretenses. In a desperate attempt to maintain control over the situation, Ritter invited Dime for a drive, suggesting they go somewhere quiet to talk. When they reached an isolated area near Ritter's uncle's house, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. Ritter, overwhelmed by fear and anger at the thought of being ridiculed for dating a transgender woman, made a devastating choice. In a fit of rage, he shot Dime 3 times in the head with a .22 caliber handgun, silencing her forever. Later that day, Dime Doe's lifeless body was discovered slumped in her car, parked in a driveway. The news spread quickly through Allendale, leaving friends and family in shock and disbelief.
This is the road that family members say the body of Ernest Doe Jr. was found inside of a car off of a driveway here. Now is to search for answers while family members try to make sense of the senseless death.
After shooting Dime Doe 3 times in the head with a .22 caliber weapon, Ritter embarked on a calculated effort to conceal his involvement. prosecutors revealed that he quickly set about destroying evidence that could link him to the crime. In a desperate attempt to eliminate any physical traces, Ritter burned the clothes he had been wearing during the shooting. Not content with just destroying evidence on his person, Ritter took further steps to distance himself from the murder weapon. He carefully hid the gun used in the killing, making it more difficult for investigators to connect him to the crime. Ritter's efforts to cover his tracks didn't stop there. He began weaving a web of deception, lying to law enforcement about his whereabouts and interactions with Dime Doe on the day of the murder. Following this gruesome act, law enforcement arrived at the scene of Dime Doe's murder. Officers quickly began their work, gathering evidence and trying to piece together what had happened. They knew every detail mattered and worked diligently to uncover the truth behind this tragic event. As the investigation progressed, detectives interviewed friends and family members of both Dime Doe and Ritter. Dime Doe's family complained about why the case was taking so long.
Just wonder why the investigation is taking such a slow process of them coming out and giving her information that other sources are getting that we are seeing.
As the trial unfolded, the charges against Daqua Ritter became clear. The courtroom was packed as the judge read out the charges against Daqua Lamique Ritter. Everyone listened closely, knowing this was a big moment. Ritter was accused of 4 serious crimes. First, he was charged with murder. This meant the prosecutors believed he had killed Dime Doe on purpose. It was the most serious charge and could lead to a very long time in prison. Second, there was a hate crime charge. This was special because it was the first time someone was tried in federal court for a hate crime based on gender identity. The prosecutors said Ritter killed Doe because she was transgender, which made it even worse in the eyes of the law. Third, Ritter faced a federal firearms charge. This was because he used a gun to commit the crime. The prosecutors said he shot Doe 3 times with a .22 caliber weapon. Lastly, there was an obstruction of justice charge. This meant Ritter was accused of trying to hide what he did. The prosecutors said he burned his clothes, hid the gun, and told his friends not to talk about what happened. As the charges were read, people in the courtroom whispered to each other. They knew this case was important not just for Dime Doe, but for all transgender people who face violence. The prosecutors wanted to show that hurting someone because of who they are is very wrong and will be punished. The trial was about to begin, and everyone knew it would be a tough fight. If found guilty, Ritter could go to prison for life with no chance of ever getting out. The trial of Daqua Ritter began in February 2024. The courtroom was full of people waiting to see what would happen.
With her. The defense asserts not only did this killing not happen because of gender identity, because of Doe's gender identity, but in fact that Ritter is innocent. The government showed body camera footage of a traffic stop from the day that Dime was murdered that shows the defendant in the car with her. But Ritter's defense team says that while they concede he was with Dime Doe at some point during the day, there's a lack of DNA evidence tying him to the scene of the crime. Ritter also accused of lying to state investigators about his whereabouts on the afternoon that Dime was killed. But the body camera footage shows a distinctive tattoo that was on Ritter's wrist, and the case agent later identified that tattoo during the interview and brought that up to him and said, "We have body camera footage from an earlier traffic stop that appears to show you in the car," and he once again denies being in that vehicle where the victim was later found hours later after being shot 3 times.
As the trial started, the FBI shared evidence shown during the trial, like text messages and social media posts, revealing that Ritter was angry about rumors of his sexual relationship with Dime Doe. During the trial, the government proved that Ritter killed Doe because of her gender identity. In this case, the jury's decision seemed to show that if Doe had not been transgender, the defendant would not have killed her, said an FBI lead case agent from Colombia. The FBI also explained, This case is historic because it's the first time a defendant has been found guilty at trial of a hate crime motivated by gender identity. On October 17, 2024, Dakwa Ritter was found guilty of killing Dime Doe. This was a big deal because it was the first time someone was convicted of a hate crime for killing a transgender person in federal court.
Now, we begin tonight with breaking news out of the federal courthouse as a man will spend the rest of his life in prison for killing a transgender woman.
Yeah, it's a case that prosecutors called a hate crime. Our News 19's Walker Lawson was in the courtroom this afternoon and joins us now with the breaking details. Walker.
A statement made inside the federal courthouse today as Dakwa Ritter was sentenced to life in prison for murdering Dime Doe. The judge saying that it sends a statement that hate crimes will not be tolerated.
U.S. District Judge Sherry A. Lydon gave Ritter his sentence in federal court in Columbia, South Carolina. The judge decided Ritter should go to prison for life. The prosecutors said Ritter killed Dime Doe because she was transgender, which made it a hate crime.
Justice has been served. The defendant who murdered Dime Doe, a black transgender woman, has received a severe sentence for his crimes. This sentencing will not bring Dime Doe back, but it sends a clear message. The Justice Department vigorously defends the civil rights of every American. All people deserve to live their lives free from violence based on who they are and who they love, and we will prosecute acts of violence that target any American because of their race, gender, gender identity, sexual orientation, religion, or national origin. And we stand with members of the LGBTQI+ community who face threats of violence and acts of violence.
After the judge gave Ritter his sentence, Deborah Saab, Dime Doe's mother, expressed her devastation, stating that every day is a struggle. She requested the maximum sentence for Ritter, asserting that he shouldn't get to see the light of day. Many people also had things to say. Groups that help LGBTQ+ people spoke up. They said this case showed why we need better laws to keep transgender people safe. They hoped this would make people think twice before hurting someone just because they're different. U.S. Attorney Adair Ford Burroughs talked to reporters outside the courthouse. She said something important about Dime Doe. Her exact words were, "Dime Doe was a brave woman." Burroughs wanted everyone to know that Dime Doe's life mattered. She also wanted to show that the law is there to protect all people, no matter who they are. Her words made many people feel that justice was done, even though it couldn't bring Dime Doe back. The attorney's words reminded everyone why this case was so important. It wasn't just about one person, but about making sure all people can feel safe being who they are. Dime Doe's vibrant spirit was taken away too soon. May her soul rest in peace. Our thoughts are with her family and loved ones during this difficult time. Do you think justice was served in Dime Doe's case? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Don't forget to like the video and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming true crime stories.